There are two kinds of people in this world, the ones who follow the grain and the ones willing to go against it. Welcome to Against the Grain. Business lessons, life, and liquor served one cocktail at a time. Tonight's drink is poured. Let's see where the conversation takes us.
All right, this is the Against the Grain podcast with my co-host Nick. Hey Nick, how are you today?
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much. Just doing this podcast and trying to have a little fun with it. So today we're going to kind of cover a little bit of what's in chapter 3 of the book Against the Grain. But before we get things started, I'd like to invite you all out to our website. It's champagneshine.com. And you can join our distillers circle there. That way you can never miss a podcast, get a little behind the scenes information. But come out and check out the book. Comes out September 15th. And love to have you join us and be a follower and be a reader. So come and check us out. We'd appreciate it. champagneshine.com.
Yeah, special mention to this week only. John will be signing Fiddle Faddle boxes for the first 100 people to sign up.
Fiddle Faddle boxes. I may go beyond 100 bucks. So
Serious.
I might have some time on my hands, so we'll see what happens. All right, but I am though. Well, by the time this airs, it'll be over. But I am going to be on a podcast called Still Talking, and they usually talk about moonshine and distilleries and that sort of thing. But one of my mentors is actually one of the hosts of that show. So as it will have long aired by the time this one does. So, but
is it Still Talking with a question mark at the end?
It's Still Talk.
Gotcha. No question mark.
No question mark.
Okay, got it.
All right.
I was thinking you were saying it like still talking, like that.
Yeah. You still talking?
Yeah.
You still talking?
Correct.
So they're still talking. All right. Hey, Nick, before we get into today's sip, what are you drinking?
Right now I'm drinking root beer with the smallest amount of whiskey.
All right. Nick
Got
has
a big day ahead of me.
Got a big day ahead of you and no time for booze. And that's okay. We don't always have to be drinking alcohol, right? So there's plenty of non-alcoholic beverages out there or alcohol-free cocktails. I always have to laugh at the alcohol-free cocktails. I'm like, so you're having juice.
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes I'll go to a bar if I don't want to drink and I'll order a virgin Cuba Libre.
Yeah. And what's in it?
Just Coke. Cuba Libre is just rum and Coke, and I just want the Coke.
Yeah.
One of my friends drinks those neutral, or I don't know what they're called, zero, something like that. It doesn't have any alcohol in it, but it's whiskey. He drinks that all the time.
Yeah.
It really does taste like whiskey.
I can't say I've ever had any of the spirits, the alcohol-free spirits, because I kind of don't see the point. For me, I don't see the point. But I have had some zero beers, some that taste bad and some that taste pretty good, like Heineken Zero, pretty good. So
I just missed the St. Pauli girl. I don't even know if that's still around, but
I don't know either. I have no idea. So, all right. Well, Nick, I am having what I am calling a Mount Vernon Mule. And it is, I'll get into why Mount Vernon, but it's basically a Moscow Mule, but made with rye, and instead of vodka. And, in my case, I made it actually with, some rye that I distilled. I call it OH Rye O. The Buckeye fans and people that hate the Buckeyes, are probably very familiar with the OHIO cheer that Buckeyes do everywhere in airports and wherever they are. I'm sure a lot of people find it very annoying. But I call it OHIO because, I try to name all of my spirits, locally, Champaign County, Urbana, Ohio, or just Ohio in general. And so I share the recipe of this mash actually in the book, in an appendix. But I make it with Ohio blue corn, and then Ohio blue corn, and of course rye. But when it distills and goes through the thumper, I fill that thumper with, not fill it, but I charge the thumper with some honey that I get from a local guy, and with pawpaw pulp. And pawpaw is Ohio's state fruit.
Sure
Um,
is.
and I actually had never even had pawpaw until last year when I decided to make this recipe or create this recipe.
I've had it 2 or 3 times. It's not bad. It's unexpected, I will say that.
Hmm.
The flavor, at least I thought it was unexpected. I didn't. I thought it tastes like an apple, but I mean, I guess it kind of does. But
Oh,
kind of like a banana to me too.
well, most people describe it as sort of a cross between a banana and a mango if you mash the two together. And that's what it tastes like to me. That was a pretty good description. So, but anyways, OHRIO in my Mount Vernon mule. So, all right, let's get
Cool.
into things. All right, so the sip,
Good.
today's sip is that enthusiasm launches businesses, and understanding sustains them. Got any kind of reaction to that?
I mean, I agree. I mean, I think the hardest thing that it comes up when you start anything new is the enthusiasm will take you a really like it'll take you really far to start. Um, but I think maybe having realistic expectations when you set it up is really what sustains it. I mean, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
And hard work. I mean, that's the one thing you always got to put in the hard work.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know about you, but you're probably different. But when I was a lot younger, I would hard charge out of the gate, and then get kind of bored fairly quick. It's like I'm gonna go do it and see if I can do this. Okay, I can do it now. I'm tired of doing it. Give me something else. And
Especially when you're not seeing the return you expected for the effort you put in.
yeah, well, even if I did, it was like okay, done. Time to move on.
Go ahead and let's check that off.
Yeah, and I think to my own detriment, I've gotten much more focused in my later years. Like, okay, a hard charge out of the gate's great, but you've got to sustain it. You've got to maintain that momentum, and that's why I say understanding really does sustain it, and that not just understanding. Like in my case, I had to understand that about myself that I would have a propensity to say, okay, enough of that. I've got to understand that I can't say that. I need to keep building, keep at it, and not just move on to the next thing so rapidly. And so there's that kind of understanding, just understanding yourself. But there's also the understanding of your market. If you hard charge ahead with a new business or product, and it's great out of the gate, but you really haven't taken the time or effort to understand your market and your customers, then it might start off well, but it's going to fizzle out quickly.
Yeah. I get that. I think the thing for me when I was always setting it up is I would have something that I'm doing, but I'd have 10 million different things that I had to do also. And it
Yeah.
was hard to find time to focus completely on that.
Yeah.
Um, Finding a way to,
Multitask.
and time, take care of your time management was really,
Yeah.
and you know what? This is kind of embarrassing to admit, but I mean, it took me a really long time to embrace using a calendar at work. Like, I mean, longer than I would like to admit
Uh-huh.
on camera. But I mean, I use my calendar every single day, and it's really helped impact that for sure.
Yeah, that's funny. I've always been a calendar person. It's just ingrained in how I conduct my day. And it's funny because my wife will ask me once, and Carol will ask me once in a while, what's your day like tomorrow? I'm like, I don't know. I haven't looked at the calendar yet. And if I don't have that calendar, I can get kind of lost. I even have to put things in there like if I want to set time aside for a specific task or function, I will put that on the calendar. Make sure that nobody, well, it doesn't always make sure because some people don't care, but for the most part, people won't override if you've got something on your calendar. And more importantly, to me, it's indication of, oh, okay, I need to focus on this now. I need to, going back to your point, how do you find the time to focus on the right things at the right time? The calendar really helps me. So I've just always done it since since I graduated college, I would say.
For me, it's like I have not only my calendar to worry about, but I also have all
Yeah.
the franchisees I work with, their calendar to work with. So
Hmm.
I mean, having a unified system we all use, I can put things on their calendar, or they can put things on mine fairly easy,
Hmm.
um, and I'll get there, or I won't,
Yeah.
depending on what's going on.
Right. Yeah, you just adjust, right? So,
Correct.
yeah. All right. Hey, Nick, I wanted to mention a couple of things. One is why this Mount Vernon mule. By the way, I will put the recipe up under the link to the podcast at the champagneshine.com website. But the reason is that in chapter 3, one of the things to talk about is actually George Washington, the first president of the United States. And a lot of people don't know because for a while, for several decades, it was kind of erased from history that he was a big time distiller,
Hmm.
and kind of with the temperance movement, early 1900s and that sort of thing. Uh,
Started in Ohio, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
yeah, yeah,
Cincinnati, Ohio.
yeah. By what's her name?
I
Uh,
don't remember her name.
Carrie Nation. So, but she must have been a lot of fun at a party, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, she was a treat, I'm sure.
Anyway, what was I saying? Um,
Whiskey.
yeah, so it was kind of erased from the history books, and then I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, maybe a little more. It started to become a little bit better known, and actually, the distillery at Mount Vernon is operational again. I can't remember what year they brought it back up.
Yeah,
But and it's a tourist attraction. You can go tour the distillery and everything.
I'd
But
like to do that. That'd be fun.
I would too. I think it would be pretty cool. But after the Revolutionary War, um, and I think after George said enough's enough, I'm going back to the farm. He and his farm manager were looking at things, and there was a kind of an abundance of rye, and so it's like, well, what do we do with this excess rye? And they thought, well, let's start making some booze out of it, and so that's what they did, and so they took kind of time to really understand things. Right? It's like we've got a market, we've got the ingredients in abundance. Let's service that market with the ingredients that we have, and so that kind of is what got things really going pretty seriously for him. And he was, like I say, he was a major distiller, one of the biggest in the country at the time.
Yeah, I read that at its peak he was doing like 11,000 barrels a year.
Yeah, which
That's a
is
crazy amount.
yeah, it's a lot. And um, in at least yeah, it's not just an Ohio thing. Well, maybe it is an Ohio thing. I don't know. But if you have a craft distillery, you can produce and sell up to 10,000 gallons a year without having to distribute through the state. So the state controls distribution of liquor.
Hmm.
But up to that 10,000 gallon mark, you don't have to do that. So for a craft distiller, that's actually a pretty good deal because you're not, once you start dealing with the state, you're getting very little per gallon of liquor. And it's a tough road. So that's why you don't see any real big distillers really in Ohio. The state laws are just too cruel.
Also in Ohio, or not in Ohio, pardon, but George Washington was also the president during the Whiskey Rebellion. So
Yeah.
he's kind of all over the place with whiskey.
He probably loved his country dearly, right? But he probably also related to what the farmers were rebelling against because he was one of them,
Yeah, that was him
right?
too, 100%.
Yeah. So, hey, did you also know that George didn't like to shake hands? He actually preferred to bow to visitors, even when he was president. And that actually was a tradition of presidents for many, many years. Now you see them shaking hands, and but yeah, he started the tradition of bowing to his visitors. He didn't like to shake hands. I don't know if he was a germaphobe or if it was a respect thing, but what I think is that he actually learned that from the aliens who came and communicated non-verbally. So just you
Do you
know,
think he learned that on his first abduction or his second abduction?
I don't know if he ever was abducted, but I do think it's fact that he was the first POTUS uh, he, to be visited. You know, when they come down and say, "Take me to your leader,"
Hmm.
George was it.
Oh, he was
So
the leader.
yeah, exactly.
They were all about the new world,
Yeah,
um, for sure. If I ever become president, I'll bring back bowing.
yeah, yeah. Why not? Although
Yeah, why
Obama tried
not?
it once, and he got eaten up pretty badly on social media when he bowed to a couple of leaders from other nations.
Dang,
Yeah.
that's too bad.
So yeah, you might not want to bring it back. I don't know. Yeah. You can give it a
Well,
try.
step one is become president, and I'll see what happens from there.
That is step one. Yeah, yeah. So we'll see what happens from there. Hey, I want to tell you about an experience. I talk about this in the book too, Nick. Speaking of understanding your markets. So I'm not going to name the distiller, the distillery, but it was pretty. It's a pretty big one in Tennessee, and I was driving through Tennessee, and I wanted to visit this distillery. And this is a moonshine distillery, not a whiskey or type of distillery. So, um, but I was a fan of their products kind of early on when they kind of got their start. And to me, it felt like the taste changed after a few years as it became more popular. The flavor changed, and I didn't like it anymore. But I still wanted to go visit, so went and visited one time, and I was immediately pissed off because uh, right there at the door, if you just wanted to walk through the retail store, you had to pay a fee just to get into place, and
Mm.
that was I thought very uncool. But I wanted to do a tasting, so I paid for that, and then I paid for the tasting, and I was looking for a true tasting experience, and what their experience really was just doing shots, little mini shots of various flavored moonshine, and hollering things like "hell yeah," kind of things as you drink them, woo. Uh, Not the experience I wanted at all, but that was my fault. I didn't understand the experience that they were selling. So they were clearly selling an experience that I wasn't interested in, but I was kind of the old fuddy duddy in the room, and everybody else was there for exactly the experience they were getting. And so I don't know if this is true or not, but I imagined that, when they started out making kind of the moonshine for, if there's such a thing as a connoisseur of moonshine, that's what they were making it for, right? And then as it grew in popularity, they said, hey, there's a bigger audience out here that we're going to play to. Forget about the people that are a little bit picky about their moonshine. Let's go with that crowd that's like, woo, let's go, let's go. And so that's what they did, right? They targeted that market, and they've done it very successfully. So they understood what experience they wanted to provide. They understood the market they were trying to hit, and they've done it well. It's just not for me, but it clearly is for a lot of other people.
Was it too sweet, or like what was it?
Just didn't taste good. It basically, if you take any cheap vodka and squirt a little sugary flavoring into it, um, that's what you had.
Did the ABV come down too?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yep.
Hmm, interesting.
Not dramatically. I mean, like I like whether I'm buying it off the commercial shelf or making it. I like it right around 90 proof. And a lot of like if you go to a liquor store, most spirits are sold at 80 proof. Some of the higher end are 90, maybe a little bit more. But I like 90. And I would say everything that they served was 70 to 80 proof, except for the except for the sip and cream. Those are usually down around the
15%.
40, 50. Yeah.
Is what I was thinking, but yeah.
Yeah. 20, 25 percent.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Have I ever had this brand of moonshine?
I don't know. Not from me, you haven't, but you may have.
Does it come in a mason jar?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, I've had it.
I bet you're thinking of one that is not it, but we'll talk about that offline. I don't want to name names here.
I hear you.
So, anyways, that was an experience. You ever had any experience where you clearly, maybe it's you, maybe your own experience, where you clearly knew what the customer was looking for, what experience they wanted, and you either provided it or said, nope, that's not who we are?
I mean, I've had experiences like that as a customer. I mean, my experience in business is kind of like you know what you're getting when you walk in. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But I mean, I've definitely had instances where that's happened.
Mhm.
When I was like 18 or 19, I had a BMW 525i. It was like a 94 or something like that. It was old. And I had to get the transmission replaced in it. And took me for all it was worth. It was $3,000 to get the transmission, not even rebuilt. They had to
More
rebuild
than the
it.
car was worth, right?
Girl, for sure it was. Well, probably about the same, but yeah, whatever. I paid for it. And I just remember thinking it was going to be quick. Like, this is something that should take 1 or 2 days. Like, I've rebuilt transmissions before. It's not that difficult, right?
Mm.
BMW's add a little bit extra layer of, you know, additional
Complexity.
work. Well, I mean, just like to give you an example, like to change the battery in that car, you had to take the entire back seat out. Like, that's how you change the battery. So I assumed it'd maybe take a day or two, right? Ended up taking almost 2.5 months to get the transmission replaced in that thing. So my expectation versus reality was nothing like that, and the communication from the shop was not great either.
Yeah. But
So
you were in really good shape because you had to walk everywhere. So
it's actually when I had my blue scooter, I scooted around everywhere. So I had to take that scooter on like a 50-mile trip,
uh,
like round trip, and I filled up the tank 3 times on the way there. It was miserable, man. Worst ride. My back hurt, my butt hurt. It
yeah,
was
none
not a good
but.
experience. And I wanted to do it when I set out, and I got about halfway there, and I was like, "This is gonna suck."
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the way it was with me at that distillery experience. I was excited. I wanted to do it, and I got not even halfway, and I'm like, this sucks.
Yep.
So,
Well, I mean, yeah. As soon as you found out you had to pay just to go into the shop, the retail shop.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So, but again, not that there's anything inherently wrong with that business model that they have. It's clearly doing them well. But those are some of the things that you have to consider is what kind of, not only who is my target market, but what kind of experience am I going to provide? Um, and there's give and takes to everything, right? So like if in the book I used the Champagne Shine Distillery as this fictional distillery, that if I did a distillery someday, here's what I would do. And with that distillery, I wouldn't have the woohoo, let's do shots experience. I would have the tasting. But that comes at a cost of I'm going to attract a smaller crowd, right? Now, maybe I'll attract a crowd that's more apt to spend money on additional things. So a retail shop would be vital to sustain it. A retail shop that would attract those customers, right? That I wouldn't charge for them just to go and peruse my merchandise. And we were talking about that 10,000 gallon limitation. Well, I would also work hard to make sure that local establishments would carry my products. Bars, restaurants, that sort of thing. And that would be how I would counter I'm not drawing in the massive foot traffic. I'm drawing in an abbreviated set of people as foot traffic, but I've got all of these other revenue streams that I would count on to make it all work. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, it does. I mean, I think that's probably how I would attack it too. I think you could probably get a lot on merch if it's really cool.
Hmm.
But you're bringing in people that want to drink your moonshine, not that want to drink or that want to come in and party. Like those are
Yeah,
two different kinds of people.
two
Agreed.
different things. I want to enjoy this. I want to enjoy the flavor, the experience, right, versus, hey, let's get another shot.
Yeah, see how the product's made.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I agreed.
yeah.
Yeah, when we used to live in Milwaukee, there was a bunch of breweries, but there was a distillery that we'd go to, I don't know, once every other month probably.
Mm,
And it was just like they literally would show you all of their equipment that they used to make it, and
yeah.
then they would let you sample every single one of their products.
Uh,
And it was always a rotating like blend of what they had, but they gave you full drinks. So I just remember one time it was like a seasonal, like some seasonal event where they had a bunch of so they had all you could eat bacon.
uh-huh. Hey,
And
that's going to
then
draw a crowd just by itself.
I know. It was like $50, I think. I think it was $50. And then you got to try a full drink of all their drinks. They had 11 or 12 drinks. The only one I
Wow.
really remember is they had absinthe.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the first time I ever had it, and it was not good. Like I just
Yeah.
remember thinking it tasted like stale licorice. Like it just was not good.
You released the fairies, huh?
Well, they didn't have wormwood in it, but I mean I could definitely taste the anise, like
Yeah.
very strong.
Yeah. It's a different experience, that's for sure. Taste wise. So,
I think wormwood is still illegal to put in spirits in the US. I'm not
uh,
sure
I,
though.
no, not anymore.
Okay.
They actually debunked a lot of the old crap about it being hallucinogenic and all that, and all of the reasons that it was made illegal that have been disproven. So, yeah,
Yeah, one
just
time in
no.
Cheyenne, Wyoming, my old roommate and I were out there. I had to do something for my dad in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and we were staying at a motel that was called Motel. It was like $30 a night. It was very gross. And across the street was a bar, and they had some. There was some absinthe like company that had who's the guy that cut off his ear? Can't remember his name. Van Gogh.
And go.
It was like Van Gogh was on the bottle, like
Yeah,
his, yeah. I don't know what it was called, but they were giving out free drinks, and I remember, I don't remember drinking it, but I had a bunch
yeah.
that night. So
That you can remember.
correct. I remember I drank it because they were free. Like I
Yeah,
just kept giving them out to people.
yeah, yeah. One or two absence is enough for me. That's because I'm not a big licorice fan, so I'm not really
Mm-mm.
drawn to
I
it.
would never drink it by choice, but I guess I did back then. But now I would never drink it by choice.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, hey, speaking of by choice, let's by choice get to the proof today. The proof, Nick, is that we have to honestly assess the market before you enter it. So we talked a little bit about that. Know what it is before you get into it. Identify your target. Decide whether you're selling a product, an experience, or both, and choose one thing that you do exceptionally well before you expand. A lot of times, folks, I keep using restaurant as an example. I'm going to start a restaurant and I'm going to have this great big expansive menu. Well, that's kind of not a good idea, right? Start off with smaller, and get really good at it, and then you can consider expanding. Or to your point, with your experience, the seasonal. That's a great way to expand your offerings, is make them seasonal and do something a little bit different to change it up now and then. But really get focused on that one thing and do it really well before you think about other things. And that also kind of goes back accidentally on your part to one of the first things you talked about, and that's, how do I manage my time to focus on all of the things that I need to focus on. Sometimes we also have to say no to some things and say, I just can't do that because I've got these other things and I need to focus here. And saying no can be very difficult.
Yes, saying no can be difficult. It's funny you say that. We'll go over it here in a second, but
Oh, we getting ready for Nick's Mash? Is it time?
it's kind of the exact opposite of what you said.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, let's go for it. The music's playing, so let's get into Nick's Mash.
So I recently, like I'd say in the last week or two, there's been a lot of changes at my in my business. And I I had to take over some new territory, added some extra workload to me. Not a problem. A little bit, well, it's kind of the same travel, just in a different area. So I'm going all the way over to St. Louis now. Um, but I kind of thought, how did I get here? Like, how did I, like, reminiscing, how did I get to where I'm at now? And I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. And it comes down to saying yes. There have been so many times in my career where I've been asked to do extra work or additional things, and I've always said yes to it. And saying yes opens up so many doors, like so many doors. Just to give you an example, a very recent one. We have, we use Power BI for almost all of our reporting, and one of our directors that did almost all of our reporting just got promoted to a VP of operations role, and he's a little overwhelmed. And this isn't a really, I guess this is the time I said yes, but I went up to him one day and was like, hey, I need this specific reporting. And he said, I'll get it to you if I have time. And I said, hey, why don't you just show me how to do it? And I can do this reporting for you.
Yeah.
So we spent 2 or 3 hours him showing me how to build reports in Power BI. And he said, do you think that you could do this on a weekly basis and send it out to the team? And I said, of course I can. And that's just a skill I would not have learned had I not spoken up. And that makes me a lot more valuable. Like, yeah, it's going to add some additional, effort, but I mean, it takes me 20 minutes to build the report once a week. And it's experience that nobody else on the team has, and people rely on me to do it. So it makes you, more valuable for sure. So I would say, the mash would be saying yes. I know that you said you can't always say yes, which I agree with. But saying yes absolutely impacts your career in a very positive way. It's been nothing but great for me. I mean, there's been some struggles. There's been some times I've hated that I said yes. But every time the outcome at the end of it has been good
Yeah.
or
I
great.
don't think they're in conflict with each other, Nick. So, you're absolutely right. Say yes to as much as you can, but know when to say no. And you even gave an example where you got two individuals, you got your boss and yourself, and one was saying, no, I don't have the time. I mean, that's basically what he was saying. Whenever anybody says, if I get some time, they're saying, I'm not going to get
I
time.
don't have it.
Right. Right. So he was saying no, and you were saying, yes, I can do that. So it's a perfect example of both. He didn't have the capacity, and you said, you know what? I'm going to make time for this because I feel like it's important. So those two things are not in conflict whatsoever. They work well in concert.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. So consider it mashed, I guess.
all right, consider it mashed, and so then that brings us to the conclusion of our podcast. So Nick, great mash, appreciate it, appreciate your time, and have a great one.
Yep. We'll see you.
All right, take care.
Business lessons, life, and liquor. Until next time, stay honest, stay curious, and never be afraid to go against the grain. And remember, life's about choices.